Hello again, everyone. All right, so it's been a while. It's been a few weeks between my videos. I've had a few things come my way, so nothing bad, nothing terrible. I've just had a lot of classes to teach, so outside of doing this, I teach classical violin, I teach piano and guitar and production at the same time. Not to mention, I also played a private event this past weekend. So a very intimate private event. It's a couple hired me on, but either which way, I digress. Okay, so let's take it to the comments. All right, so Ephraim Lee Jr. Okay, so this is actually one of my in-person students. He says, thanks for sharing another great video on the JD-08. It's definitely a go-to synth. Can you demonstrate how to play two separate patches on two different MIDI channels? Okay, yes, I can. As a matter of fact, this is actually something that we went over together during one of our classes, and we made some rather interesting discoveries in doing so. But tonight, what I'm going to do is go over how to use an external MIDI controller to control two parts of the JD-08 simultaneously. All right, so let's take a look. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so as far as the MIDI menu is concerned, what we're going to do is we're going to tap our common button and we are going to navigate over. Hold on, let me turn off note really quickly. So now we have all of our menu lights illuminated. Okay. Okay, so I happen to know by heart that option number 9 right here takes us to the MIDI menu. So tap number 9 takes you to MIDI. Tap number 9 again to access the next layer of the menu. Okay, so now we have a series of options. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of these one by one, each parameter one by one. Okay, so first you have channel. This is the all-encompassing overall channel of the JD-08. So say, for example, if you have a keyboard controller that has a built-in sequencer, well, not only will you be able to key in notes and what have you, but you'll also be able to use the keyboard controller's transport controls. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry about that. You'll be able to use the keyboard controller's transport controls to control the JD-08's sequencer. Now, sometimes you would want this, sometimes you don't want this. Me, it's kind of a coin toss. It just depends on what type of project I'm working on. So if I were to press the channel button, you have a few options here. You have off, and then you have 1 through 16. Mine just so happened to be off just due to the project I was working on previously. Okay, now, in order to access the, in order to exit, in order to exit the layer, the menu layer that you just so happen to be on at the moment, just press the exit button. And now we're one level outside of where we were. Okay, so now let's see, we have button 2. Yet another channel button, channel A, or the channel for part A. In one of my previous videos, I was explaining how you can create dual layer sequences by using parts A and parts B of the JD-08. Well, part A and part B also have independent MIDI channels as well. So again, if you have a keyboard controller that's capable of controlling multiple MIDI channels simultaneously, well, you can control both parts simultaneously. Channel A, if we click the button, we have a MIDI channel. I just so happen to be set to 5. Okay, we exit again. Next, button number 3, and you guessed it, channel B. Same difference. Click B again. You can change your channel for part B. All right, so let's exit. Now, R key, all right? Or at least that's what I think it says. I'm not 100% sure as to what the acronym stands for, what the abbreviation stands for. Sorry about that. Well, basically, and this is what makes the JD-08 kind of unique, because what you have the capability of doing is explaining to the JD-08 what type of connection to observe, or what to look out for, or what to detect. I'll show you what I mean. So if I press this button, you have a couple of options. I believe you have MIDI and USB, off MIDI and USB. So you have off MIDI, USB. Um, with the exception of off, these what you're doing is you're explaining to the JD-08 what type of controller or what type of connection your external controller is going to use in order to interface with it. So if you have a USB controller, I guess a good example of that would be the Novation Launchpad, because it has a USB-C to C connection. You can use that as a controller for the JD-08, and with MIDI you can use any standard MIDI controller, whether it be the KeyStep Pro, the KeyStep, the Korg SQ64. You get the picture. All right, so I'm going to set this to MIDI for the time being. I have a MIDI cable connected at the moment, so I'll just use the MIDI cable that I have handy. Okay, let's exit. All right, next menu option, sync. Okay, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. What you have the capability of doing here is selecting the type of synchronization the JD-08 will adhere to. So right now I have it set for auto, meaning that any external keyboard or any external controller will automatically be detected, whether it be connected via USB, or whether it be connected via by MIDI. One of my favorite clock sources, by the way, or clock ports, is the external clock in, and that's just me using modular systems and what have you, but I digress. Let's see. We have other options here. If you do not want the JD-08 to subscribe, should I say, if you do not want the JD-08 to subscribe to the external any external clock source, then what you can do is you can just opt to use the internal clock source for the JD-08. Okay. Let's see. Next, we have MIDI. Of course, you can have a MIDI clock source, and you can have a USB, and those are your options. So again, this is all regarding synchronization, whether it be for the sequencer, whether it be for the LFO. I believe does the envelope generator? I'm not 100% sure. I would have to look into that, but I do happen to know that you can sync the excuse me, I do happen to know that you can sync the LFO to the clock source. Okay. Sync O, or Syn O, or however you want to pronounce that. Basically, it's the sync output, because not only is the JD-08 a slave to the clock source, but it's also a master clock source as well. So by clicking this button, you have the capability of using all ports, USB or MIDI, as the sync out. Let's see, let's exit, and MIDI through, or you have your through. So let's see, sorry about that. So if I click through, you can turn it on or off. Basically what this is saying is that whatever, so say for example, if you have a MIDI input, something, if you have an external controller that's sending a MIDI signal into the JD-08, well, what the JD-08 can do is it can pass that same MIDI signal as an output to yet another device. So basically you can just have like this, it acts as a MIDI hub when you think about it. You can daisy chain these MIDI signals out to wherever you happen to want them to go. So multiple destinations is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so that pretty much does it for the MIDI section. So let's talk about the matter at hand here, and that is how to control multiple parts on multiple MIDI channels with a single controller. All right, let's take a look at that. Okay, so for this part of the demonstration, I am going to use the Arturia KeyStep Pro. The one thing I do like about this particular unit is the fact that you can assign separate MIDI channels to separate tracks. So let's go back to the JD-08 for a moment. Let's click Common. We're back at our MIDI menu, just as I described before. And let's see here. Sorry about that. Go here. We were left off it through. And remember how I mentioned how I turned the global MIDI channel off? The reason being is because for this demonstration, I think I'm going to use the KeyStep Pro sequencer to control the JD-08. I don't know, might change my mind halfway through, but for right now, we'll leave that off for the time being. Right now, let's see, we have part A. All right, so before I make an assignment to any part, what I am going to do is first, I'm going to hold start, and I'm going to cycle over to an empty sequence. And then from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to, I don't necessarily have to do an empty patch this time. I'll just do I'll just do a random patch. Okay, now, and the question is, what part are we on? Someone left a comment telling me that if you hold the note button and press either tone A or tone B, you can navigate between parts A and parts B of the JD-08. I completely forgot about that, and I've been doing it the hard way the entire time. So thank you so much for that. Let's see. So tone, okay, so part A is set for patch A86. B, what can we do here? So what will we do for B? That's cryptic. I don't know, I kind of like that. Let's see, but okay, let's do that. All right, so we have a part B. So we have a patch selected for part B, and a patch selected for part A. All right, so now let's go into Common again. Let's go to our MIDI menu. I'll turn Note off so that way I can see my buttons. All right, so I'll go into MIDI, press number 9 again. All right, the channel for part A. All right, so that's going to be set for number 5. The channel for part B is also set to 5, but let's set that to 4. Okay, so we have 4 and we have 5. Now, depending on, so this is going to look different for everyone's keyboard controller, but with the KeyStep Pro, I happen to know that I can, let's see, I happen to know that I can cycle through my menus. Okay, here we are. I can cycle through the independent utility menus and assign my MIDI channels per track. So let's see here. And by the way, if you guys want me to do a demonstration of the Arturia KeyStep Pro, I'm more than happy to do that. But let's see. Track 1 output, I'll set that to number 5. Track number 2. let's see here. Let's exit here and go down to output for number 2 and set it to 4. So as you can see, now I can use my keyboard controller to control both parts at the click of a button. So that's actually kind of neat. No different from what you could do with the JD-08, but the beauty of this is that now you have an external sequencer with multiple tracks, as well as multiple parts as well. So let's see what we can do here. Let's see. Okay, let's have a little bit of fun with this. All right, so let's program some steps in, shall we? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's see. Edit steps. Okay. All right. Let's go. All right, so then we'll do G13, I suppose. And then we'll wrap it up with like a C major 9. No, it's a C major. Yeah, it's a 9. C major 9, of course, because there's a D there. All right. Cool. All right. All right, let's jump over to the next part. So let's see, we did a... Let's see, I need a reference here. 159. 5 9. Oh my goodness. I want to change the octave on that one. So let's see what we can do here. Let's see. I can erase that one and just replace it with... oh, actually I had that wrong. So let's see. Let's do this again. Actually, I can just clear the pattern. Okay, here we go. So, all right, and then G will go up an octave, and then 9C. Not my best work. But that's pretty much it. That's another unique attribute of the JD-08. Is the flexibility, the capability of controlling multiple parts with external controllers, and it's very cooperative at the same time. Very easy to program and dial in MIDI channels and what have you. So, all right, I think that pretty much does it for the demo. All right, guys, that pretty much does it for the demonstration. My apologies for the flickering LEDs. I'll have to make some camera calibrations in order to prevent that from happening in any future videos. It's the first time I've demoed the KeyStep Pro. It's one of my go-to controllers. But either which way, like I said, sorry about that. I'll work on that. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I appreciate you guys for supporting me. I appreciate you guys for subscribing. I appreciate you guys for the likes, the comments, everything. So please keep it up. And again, I'm happy to help. So just feel free to leave any questions that you just so happen to have in the comments. Until then, I'll see you guys around. Thanks.